All right, here we go. Welcome everybody to the Loomis First United Methodist Church, our weekly podcast. We were talking and we were other stuff, and we got a little tickled, I think. So
I know I did. Ray every week says something really funny right before
just
we start recording.
yeah. So welcome everybody. My name is Ray Fisher. I'm the music director, and this is our Deacon of Christian Education, Melanie Oliver.
Hi, everybody.
Our pastor, Allison Berry, is still in Tonga, sitting on the beach, drinking something with a little umbrella in it, probably. No, I'm just kidding. They're working. I'm sure
working hard, suffering for Jesus in the tropical island.
I know. But I've had actually a busy week, but a good one.
Good.
Yeah, it's been musically with the band and the choir back in rehearsals, and yeah, we're just getting ready for Lent and everything coming up. Our service last week was really good with Jerry Ango, and I want to send out a shout out to him and say great job on your sermon, Brother Jerry, because it was, and the story he tells before the sermon every time. You know, he has that tradition.
People were talking about that. Yeah.
He has a tradition of always telling a story with a humorous ending. And if you missed it, go watch it on the stream.
Yeah.
He talks about the parrot and the magician. And then at the end of it, the magician is like, okay, how'd you get rid of the ship? So yeah, it was great. We had some great music. And I was just really happy with the service last week. We did miss Allison. She's back. They fly back the 31st, don't they?
Yes. So she won't be here this Sunday, but the first Sunday in February.
Okay. But anyway, the choir did Brighter Than the Sun. We haven't done that in like 3 years. And we had a brand new hymn, Jesus, the Light of the World. So, and then this week has been, like I said, busy getting ready for Lent. And you had a 3-day thing in Silomar?
Yes. So every year in January, the clergy of our conference get together. Well, clergy and licensed local pastors. So we've changed it to be called I keep calling it the Gathering of the Orders. It's the Gathering of the Spiritual Leaders. And everybody comes together, and the bishop gave an address, and she's wonderful. Every time she preaches, it's like, wow, like the reason she's the bishop, she did an amazing job, and it's always fun to connect with people. But that was down at Asilomar, which used to be a Methodist property, but we sold it years ago. But that's just a beautiful place. And so it's rough to have to go down there for a conference.
Oh, right? Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And then this week you're preaching.
I am. Yes.
And what's your topic? What are you talking about this week?
So it just so happened, the lectionary the lectionary is several different denominations follow the lectionary through the year, and it changes every 3 years. There's A, B, and C. Just for those of you who might not know what the lectionary is, Allison usually preaches from the gospel. There's always a gospel reading from the lectionary. Then there's a Psalms reading, an Old Testament reading, and then usually another New Testament reading.
And you usually switch it up and don't do the gospel. You preach from the Old Testament a lot. Yeah,
I do. I don't know what my attraction is for the Old Testament, but I do love it. I guess just because it feels like a foundation. It feels like going home. And I think when I was going through seminary and really studied the Old Testament, I had grown up like most of us, like thinking that the Old Testament is like the God who smites and kills. And there is some of that language in there, but the underlying theme is the story of Christ, like the story of love and goodness and reconciliation. And so I love crawling back into those places. So this week, the lectionary is from the prophet Micah. And many people have heard a very popular verse, Micah 6:8. What does the Lord require of you? To seek justice, to love kindness, and walk humbly with God. And as you know, there's also a song that follows that.
Well, I was actually thinking about putting that in this Sunday, and I decided against it because we've done it a few times before. I was like, we need something else.
Something new. Yeah. So we're going to delve into the passages, Micah 6:1-8. It ends on that popular verse, but we're going to walk through those 8 verses and just kind of talk about what does this tell us about the nature of God and We're going to bird walk with the prophets a little bit, and yeah, do some Old Testament digging.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, you had your meeting with the parents after church last Sunday. How did that go?
Yeah, it was really good. I came away feeling relieved, and I think they did too, because we've all been in this place, we've said it a million times, the pandemic, church is changing, the pandemic put that on an accelerated speed. And so we were just talking about, what do kids need today? What do they want today? What do the families need? And we came to this conclusion of, and what some studies have shown is having more intergenerational events, where instead of just planning a youth group event, we're planning a family event. Like there's a bunch of families in our church that are super athletes. And so we talked about, hey, maybe we want to plan a 5K for a cause and raise money, and we all do that together. So like more intentional spaces, but intergenerational. And we also talked about putting a speed on confirmation. We were going to start in the fall, but some of the parents of the high schoolers said, let's start now and take it like after Easter and go through the summer rather than follow the school year. So that'll be a little change, and I'm excited. I love teaching confirmation. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I was a mentor for confirmation one year.
Yeah.
I forgot what happened. That's like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that whole process. So
it's really cool for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Just a cool process.
Oh yeah, because I was a mentor for Spencer Longoria. And
okay. Yeah.
We did part of our conversation, not only looking at, the scriptures and stuff and talking through some of the meanings for those things, but also visiting other denominations. Yeah. And we went to a Catholic church, but I hadn't been to a Catholic church in 40 years, probably. And I was like, I forgot how much you stand up and you kneel. You stand up and
yeah, right.
But it was fun. Actually, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
As much, sometimes I grew up very evangelical, so we didn't, to us, the Catholics were going to hell. There's no other way to put it. That's just what it is.
Right. Yeah.
But I love the Catholic Church. I love the structure, the dogma, the what do you call it? The things that you do during the service, the rituals. Yes.
Yeah.
I actually loved all that. And so it was just, it was like, oh, I forgot about this. This is great. So
yeah, right. I agree with you. And I think there have been times in my life where my faith was at a low, but I still felt that pull to worship. And so I would go to a Catholic church, because there's a certain amount of ritual that pulls you in and makes you like you're a part of it. But there's also a certain amount of ritual that allows you to check out. So I don't think I could do that every week. But a period of a few weeks that I went every single week to a Catholic church for that very reason. I just needed the ritual. I needed to know what was next. And, as I was kind of working through some faith issues. So,
well, I went through a lot of faith issues for 20 plus years. I did not want to go to a church, period.
And I don't blame you.
So, we've talked about that before.
Understandable.
And, Loomis, first study Methodist, I walked in the door and I was like, oh, wow. If I had known a church like this existed, I would have been there 20 years ago. But
isn't that amazing?
It is. But I still always, like I said, I love the Catholic Church. I love going to LDS church. I love going to Baptist church. There's always something about the experience that you can like, either the music or the ritual. Sometimes it's just a dynamic speaker. And the message that you get that day. So it's usually
as much as we can like pick each other apart, there's goodness happening at all of it, or there wouldn't be people there. I mean, like, they're doing something right. Even the ones that we may not agree with theologically, they're doing something right because they've got a lot of people sitting there. So you're right.
Absolutely. And we've talked before, there's so many denominations because there's so many different interpretations. And I can't put anybody down for their interpretation, and I can find something to enjoy in their services. Usually there's something I like. And I just always have been drawn to the Catholic Church for some reason. I've never been Catholic, never thought
Mm-hmm.
about converting to Catholicism, but
Yeah.
I just love going to the church.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Too, Cathedral of the Blessed Sacrament, the big one, downtown
oh
Sacramento.
yeah.
And I think for me, when I went and saw, I love how they have everybody coming down the aisle, with the incense, and they had this old priest who could barely walk down the aisle, and that aisle is long.
Mhm. I've been
And he
there. Yeah.
was, yeah, okay. So he walks down and he's carrying the Bible over his head, like a huge big Bible that would be heavy to lift. He can barely walk. And my eyes just filled with tears because, like, to him, that was a physical commitment that he wouldn't, that's like the only time and place. And it just said there's something important happening here. There
Mhm.
is something, there's a certain amount of reverence and respect, and like, whoa, we're doing something big here, just to see that. So anyway, very
Yeah.
meaningful.
There's a few announcements. I know you've got do you have anything else you want to talk about as far as the youth coming up in the next few weeks that you want to remind people about?
No, not yet.
Okay. There's not a lot of announcements in the Lantern this week. I did want to remind folks that we are doing a special offering for January, and this Sunday is the last week to do it. But it's for Human Relations Day. If you want to donate to that, make your check payable to Loomis First United Methodist Church. And in the memo line, put Human Relations Day so we know where to appropriate that money. There is a note in the Lantern. I just saw it, actually. This Sunday celebrates my 10th anniversary at the church.
That's right. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, there's actually a picture in there of me and Maggie.
Oh,
Cool.
I'll have to go back and look at it.
It's Reverend Maggie McNaught introducing me on my first day in church in January
Oh,
27th of 2013. Yeah. Wow.
oh, yay.
And can I just say that I cannot believe it's been 10 years. I feel like I just got here just before the pandemic hit.
Right.
So,
right.
a reminder to everyone that Carol Neely's sister is having a memorial service on Saturday, February 4th. I believe she said it was at 11 a.m. It's not in the Lantern.
Yeah,
but,
11 a.m.
It's at Moore Park Methodist in Southern California. There will be a live stream of the service. So if you would like to attend. I heard a couple of people practicing ukulele this week. So they meet the first Sunday of every month at 10:45. Kairos Ministries coming back. There are cookies that are needed for March 12th at the church. That's the last Sunday that they can take.
I'm gonna write it down.
For those who don't know what the Kairos Ministry is, it is our prison ministry. We have several volunteers who actually get locked up with the men in the uniform inside the prison. Just remember, no sprinkles or frosting. Keep it very simple, and small size cookies. Talk to Christy Olson if you have any questions on that. She usually leads these up. We do have a guest speaker today, Brother Patrick Aiello, who's going to talk to us more about the food pantry and the Rise Against Hunger. So we're going to bring him in. So let's take a quick break and bring him in.
Great.
All right. So we have Brother Patrick Aiello. And Patrick, you're going to be talking to us today about so much stuff going on at the church related to food.
Hey. Yeah, this congregation is very, very giving, very generous. We've got a wonderful team that helps us. I'm going to talk this morning about the food pantry and the Rise Against Hunger event we have coming up. So first of all, talk about the food pantry. I want to change my view here just a little bit and let you know that I am at the pantry, live from the pantry.
Oh,
and then we're going to try and open this. Yes, a cross wall. So real quick, I'm going to see if Mark will open up the curtain here so that I can show you briefly what our new equipment looks like. I'm going to stay outside to keep connection. Hey, Mark Nelson, can you open that up for me?
Hi,
Hey,
Mark.
Mark.
Thank you, sir. There, Mark, open it. And way down at the end, you all might see some shiny things. Those are our new stainless steel refrigerator and freezer. And that's Mark
Nice.
Nelson. He's our journeyman electrician and all around good guy. That's your 15 seconds of fame, Mark. Thank you very much. So all right, let me turn this back around now. So again, we were gonna give you a full tour inside the food pantry, but because it's encased in lead, not really, but the signal doesn't come in very good. So you're stuck with me outside here in this beautiful setting that we have here for the volunteers to relax at when they have a minute, and they're not servicing clients that come in here. So 2022. It was so clear that this ministry is necessary and viable and critical for the Loomis Basin. And again, we define the Loomis Basin as Ophir, Newcastle, Penryn, Loomis, and Rockland. It's a big geographic area, lots of people, rural and urban and suburb settings for that. We've also served people from Lincoln, Roseville, Sacramento, Granite Bay. Typically, if they come to the pantry, they're going to leave with food. They might also leave with a message that normally you need to go to this food pantry or that food pantry because they're better suited to serve you. But no one leaves without food. And we feel very good about that. So it's a very internally gratifying and warming experience for the volunteers. We all oftentimes get all verklempt and choked up when we're servicing some of our clients with their stories or just spending a minute and thinking about their situation and how fortunate the rest of us are. It's I won't call it a blessing in disguise, but it's definitely a blessing that comes to the volunteers for the time that that's their compensation. Actually, the volunteer compensation are those blessings that we get. So anyway, I said that 2022 is a big year. So in 2021 is what 2022 had. So we did like 533 client visits in 2021, 950 in 2022. Yeah.
Wow.
And also in 2022, we almost doubled the amount of food that they get because of our qualification with Placer Food Bank for it's called TFAP, which is the Emergency Food Assistance Program. The only thing we really had to agree to was one, keeping the inventory separate so that they could, if there was a recall, that we could deal with that because it's a USDA program and they really want to keep track of that. And we also had to agree that if there was a natural disaster, that we would be a food source for the local area here. And we said, yeah, we can do that. I mean, we're already identified as a Red Cross place for us to come or for people if necessary. So that was an easy one to say yes to. And so again, that's kind of a longer reach that we provide as a congregation community resource. Let me see what else I can tell you. With the TFAP program, we get frozen meats and some dairy products that we're able to give out. And that has helped us transition from giving gift cards out where we gave those for them to be able to purchase fresh food and or meat and dairy, things like that, because now we can provide that. In 2022, we gave out, I believe it's nearly $20,000 worth of gift cards, including the month of December. And so where'd those gift cards come from? They came from the money that was donated by you all in the congregation, people in the community, several churches and several businesses that have graciously supported this vital and critical ministry. So how's the saying go? Many hands make light work.
Yeah.
Well, we would be in the dark without all of the hands to help us make this happen. So it's a blessing to have this ministry to spend time on. And sorry, got a distraction here. And what was I going to say? It's a blessing to that. Oh, and without this ministry to consume my time, I would be in big trouble. I'd be getting in so much trouble. So blessing in that way. Oh, so thank you for allowing me to stay out of trouble and work on the pantry.
Pat, you are always into good
that's all
trouble.
I'm going to say about the pantry. If you haven't been down, come Monday through Friday, 10 to 11. Come on down. There's someone here. You can come inside. You can see how we have it organized. And again, today, actually, inside the pantry is one of the pantry emeritus people, Diane Pengre's in there, working with Ms. Maybelle Henry and Mark Nelson. So we have quite the heavies in there working for us. So the pantry's awesome. Lastly, I want to give a pitch for Rise Against Hunger. That's another thing that as a congregation we have really got fond about and with. Fond too. Anyway, we like it. We are over the 150,000 meal mark, our congregation is, and we're going to try and add an additional 20,000 meals. The date for that is Saturday, April 22nd. It'll be from 9 to noon. It'll take us all 3 hours. We need about 50 to 60 people is what the Rise Against Hunger people are saying to get 20,000 meals done in 3 hours. It's very high energy. There's music playing. There's great fellowship that goes on. Every 1,000 meals, someone hits the big gong, and it typically will startle you because it catches up on you. Or sneaks up on you. And it's just there's something for everybody. There are sit-down jobs, stand-up jobs, moving jobs, heavy lifting jobs, light lifting jobs, encouragement jobs, all kinds of things for all age ranges and mobility capabilities as well. So please don't think that you're not able, because we can find something for you. If for some reason the date doesn't work for you and you still want to be involved, we can use your help. $2.50 buys a bag of 6 meals delivered to its destination, not just to make it. So that provides the meal, the ingredients, all of the labor for Rise Against Hunger. There are some paid people that work for them. And so it pays all of the overhead, all of the transportation costs, and gets it to the destination. Ends up being about 35 to 40 cents a meal. So $2.50 buys you a bag, $10 buys you 4 bags. Do the math as you go up. The more money you give, $100, 40 meals. And so times 6, there's 6 meals in a bag. That's 240 meals for $100. So that's a big deal. Feel confident that you can volunteer your labor and be a good and faithful servant, or donate money for the cause, because we need it. Otherwise, it just comes out of the serving others budget, and we just as soon not consume everything in that budget, because there are many things that Cindy Farmer is working on to make happen, and that we always do. Or you can do both. You can volunteer and donate money. So Saturday, April 22nd, 9 to noon. It'll be a great use of 3 hours of your life. You'll be glad you did it. Plenty parking. We'll have. I was going to say we'll have coffee, but we can't have any beverages or food where we're doing the work. So we'll see if we can't have a coffee station remotely from where the food is being put into the bags. So, Ray and Melanie, I was a motor mouth and got through all of the notes that I made. And I appreciate the opportunity to be on the podcast, be with you two, be, and I just feel fortunate. Thank you very much. I'm blessed.
Well, always happy to have you on.
Yeah,
You-
and
you
we're
have-
so blessed with your leadership.
Exactly. Well, you have so much going on at the church, and we are just so happy that you're a part of it. And you do so much. We really appreciate it. And I'm sure everybody that visits the food pantry appreciates it too. So
Yeah, they do. So Lee Iacocca, not a big fan of Lee Iacocca, but one of the things he said way back when was,
that's a name
You
I haven't heard in
lead-
30, 40 years.
yeah,
Right.
you lead, you follow, or you get out of the way,
Yeah.
because we be coming. So anyway, all right, you guys, peace. Love you guys.
Love you too,
Love
Patrick.
you. See
All
you
right,
Sunday.
I'll sign off. Bye-bye.
All right. So Brother Patrick is very busy. Like he said, I don't know what he would be doing if he wasn't doing stuff at the church.
I know. And his mission is food. He wants to feed people. And I love that about him. He has such a big heart, and everybody deserves to be fed. There's not one person who doesn't deserve to eat.
Absolutely. And Patrick is definitely somebody to look up to, both physically and
Yes.
spiritually.
For sure.
I don't look up to very many people physically. He is one of them. So
Yeah.
it was funny. I was telling Melanie before the podcast started, I've been going through my old theater library of shows that I've done over the last 25, 30 years. And I found an old rehearsal VHS tape. I'm converting them so I can have everything go in place. And one of the VHS tapes was a rehearsal of me in 1999 for a show called Rail Fair, which was a big convention at Old Sacramento at the Sacramento Train Museum. And I was actually dancing.
I want to see.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was actually trying to dance. A man my size trying to dance. But that was
great.
But I was watching it. I was like, oh wow, I forgot how tiny my waist was and how big my arms were. I used to work out like every day.
Oh wow.
And so I was looking, I was in a tank top. I was like, I need those guns back.
The gun show.
It was a gun show. So anyway, I was showing that to a couple folks in the band last night, and they were like, oh my gosh, look at you. So yeah, well, I was still in my 30s then. So
right. I know. It wasn't very hard in our 30s to be in shape. It's very hard now.
I hit 40 and it's like, whoop, okay, there you go.
I know.
All right. Yeah. I wanted to ask you too, because I know we talked about it briefly last week, but you've got a Lenten study coming up. Final Words from the Cross as the book that you're basing on by Adam Hamilton. Do you want to remind people about that really quick?
Yeah. Adam Hamilton is fabulous. Many of you know how wonderful he is. He is so smart, so intelligent, and yet has a way of just, like we're sitting here talking to him. His books are great. So that's going to be on Tuesdays in Lent. We're going to have 2 classes. One via Zoom at 6:30 on Tuesday nights, and then one in person at 1:00 on Tuesdays. So please just let me know. I've ordered some books, but let me know if you want to participate in the class so I can get your name on a book and get you in the appropriate class. And that starts, let's see, February 28th is the first Tuesday in Lent.
I know we've been talking a lot about what we're going to do for Lent, and I don't think we can really finish planning until Allison gets back, but I am looking at music for the choir and for the band.
Nice.
So
did you find anything fun?
Not yet.
Okay.
And I have to be honest, I'm not a big fan of some Christian music. I listen to K-Love. It's on my radio when I drive to church, when I drive home, when I go out anywhere, I listen to Caleb, and I usually end up within 2 or 3 songs pushing it over to 92.5.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Christian music. It doesn't speak to me anymore, and it's not the message of the song. The message speaks.
Right.
All the same message. I don't know how else to describe it. It just seems like it's very repetitive. So I'm trying to find things that speak not only to me but to everyone.
Do you also find that they're a little bit Baptist in flavor? Like a little bit,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of shame, I'm not worthy,
Yeah.
save me kind of stuff. And while that's all true, we all need to be saved, right? To be our best selves in the life of Christ. But in Methodism, we don't focus on the shame, because
No.
we're taught that shame, God takes the shame and says, that's no part of this, come home, And so I find some of those songs rest a little bit in the Baptist theology. And so I kind of feel yucky after I hear them.
It's like I told James, James grew up Pentecostal like me.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband, James, he's Buddhist now. He's Tibetan Buddhist. But when we talk about it, it's like, I was brought up, you're kind of taught in some flavors of Christianity that you're basically worthless.
Yeah.
Unless you believe exactly as we tell you to believe.
Yes. Yes.
And that's hard for me. That's very hard for me these days because
Yeah.
I want a song that says, like, we're singing a song this Sunday with the choir called You Are Precious.
Yeah.
And to God, you are precious. Every single person is precious. So I don't like this whole you're unworthy kind of discussion.
I don't either.
But
in the Methodist Church, we're a good news sandwich. We always the good is on either side. And of course, there's ugly in the world and ugly in us, but there's good on either side.
Yeah. So, where was I? Oh, a couple other things coming up. Heritage Dinner, March 4th. More information coming soon. So save the date. It'll be in the fellowship hall. Rise Against Hunger, which Brother Patrick's already talked about, April 22nd. Our second annual Loomis golf tournament fundraiser on April 29th. And the women's retreat coming up on Saturday, May 20th. And if you hear something squeaking, it is my little Norbu telling me it's time for him to eat. He's still got another hour. He's hungry.
He squeaks when he's hungry.
He does. He does this little. So, also, really quick, they've noted that our podcast is now being produced on CD for folks who can't, for whatever reason, don't have access to or the knowledge to access YouTube or view us online. So if you know anyone who would like to get a copy of the podcast via CD, talk to the church office and we'll see about getting one out there for you. And I send a shout out to Frank Bailey for putting that together.
Yeah, thank you, Frank.
We did not get joys and concerns this week. I know there's probably a couple out there. I know that you brought up one earlier. Who was that one for? I can't remember.
Jocelyn Goebel.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Jocelyn's been sick, and I know
she's been super sick this week. Yeah. It's like they can't pinpoint it. She doesn't have COVID. It's not the flu. So the doctor did some blood tests, and so we'll hopefully hear today, tomorrow.
Okay.
I was just looking at my phone to see if I had a text from her, but I don't. So
there's another one that came in a couple of days ago from Mary Emmett. Prayers for her daughter-in-law Marie. She has an important job interview this week, and prayers for a successful outcome, and also prayers for the Amgo's neighbors, Carl and Riva, who have an important court date this week. Prayers for successful outcome. Those are all that I have seen that have come through email. I was telling Melanie earlier, James, my other half, is out today. He's got 2 doctor's appointments, rheumatologist, dermatologist, but we had some concerning test results from last week. They had imaging done on Friday, and really concerned about some spots that they saw on his liver. We're going to send him in for an MRI. So,
I know that's unsettling.
With all of his health issues, they've had a hard time pinpointing what the actual cause is. Now they've determined he has lupus, but they still don't know if it's systemic or localized. And this could be another manifestation of some kind of lupus symptom. We just don't know. So
yeah, the not knowing is so hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and he said, I don't care if they diagnose me with some kind of cancer. I just want to know what it is.
Right, because then you can treat it. Yeah. and move forward with it and know how to take care of yourself.
So for years, his diagnosis has been chronic fatigue fibromyalgia, which really doesn't say anything because nobody knows what the underlying cause is. So, do you want to lead us in a word of prayer? Do you have anything else you want to lift up?
That's it.
Okay.
Loving God, God of all goodness, all mercy, and all love, to you all hearts are open and no secrets are hidden. Thank you for loving us, and thank you that we don't have to hide who we are. Thank you for loving us just the way we are. For all those prayers that we mentioned and for those on our hearts that have gone unspoken, please walk us through it, be our partner, our friend, our guide, and our God. And in all ways, may our gratitude may overflow the asking. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Yeah, quick reminder, check out our website, Loomis First United Methodist Church. You'll see loomismethodist.org popping up somewhere on the screen. We have our worship services every Sunday at 9:30 a.m. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we are on Instagram now.
We are everywhere.
We're everywhere. So come join us in person, join us online. I'm going to throw the commercial out there. We want people in the choir. We really need additional voices up there. I don't care if you've never sung in your life. We've got an amazing, amazing choir director now with a master's degree in vocal performance, and he will bring the best out of you. So come out there.
He will. The two of you are such a great team. Oh, my goodness. We're so lucky.
And I can play just about any song they throw at me. So come on out. We'll have some fun. Our band, we have new musicians. We have a new drummer who just joined us a couple of months ago. We have a new singer, Debbie. Well, Deborah Royer will be back with us this Sunday for the first time.
Yay, that's so great.
We have another guitar player who's interested in coming to play for us.
Nice.
So, but we still...
It's hopping.
We need more people. We want more people to be involved because it's very difficult when one person says, I'm going to take off for this week, go out of town with my family, and we don't have a backup for them. So we need people to come in and be a part of it. We really would like more people involved. So,
and you guys look like you're having so much fun.
We do,
guys and girls. I mean, you guys, it's great.
And
it's contagious.
And Greg, our drummer, he's only been playing for like a year and a half, 2 years, and he sounds amazing. So
he is so good.
Doesn't matter what your what's the word I'm looking for? Experience is. Just come play. We're learning together. So
make a joyful noise.
Exactly. So I will see you on Sunday.
See you on Sunday.
And we'll see the rest of you somewhere, hopefully. Love you all.
Hopefully Sunday.
Bye.